Producer Joe here from the Working Fans Podcast. And at the Working Fans Podcast, this is just a podcast that three lifelong fans created to have a place to talk comedy and pro wrestling. Now, our comedy podcast releases every Tuesday, while our wrestling podcast releases every Thursday. We release bonus episodes under the moniker Working Fans Presents every now and then. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Breaker, any major podcast provider. The important thing is just please like, rate, review, subscribe wherever you listen to us. Now, we have started a new thing. We are now on Amazon and Audible. So those episodes release every Monday. And that's kind of going through the archives and just releasing our old episodes into new areas. So if you want to live through the process with us again, take that journey with us again, you can find us over on Amazon and Audible. Now, if you can't get enough of us in the audio form, check out our YouTube. It's youtube.com/C/Working Fans Wrestling Pod, or just search Working Fans Podcast on YouTube. We have the whole archive is up there. And if you listen to the Working Fans Podcast, you are more than familiar with the 531. That is our signature segment where we take your top 5 lists on a particular subject, vote it down to a top 3, and then debate it down to a top 1. Now, guys, if you want to hear 3 guys talk shit about comedy, wrestling, life, anything, you will enjoy the Working Fans Podcast.
Everybody, it's the Working Fans Podcast with the man they call Dave and AJ Strangebrew, who's on assignment. He's coming up here. We're going to talk.
We are live and in Technicolor, baby.
Top indie prospects. AJ might be frozen now. I'm not sure. Oh, no, he's here. All right, so AJ, since you're on the road, I'm going to hit you with some lists, and I'll ask you for a little feedback, and we'll see what we do. We'll start off with Scott from Voluntown. All right. Remember, this top indie prospects. He's got Effie, Daniel Garcia, Calvin Tankman, Janai Kai, Alex Zane, and he said his alternate for him was Jordan Oliver. And if our Garcia gets signed before this, Josh Bishop. Now, looking at that list, I don't know if Garcia is signed, but big fan of that kid, huh?
Oh, absolutely. Garcia, the kid's got a bright future. If he could put on a couple pounds, it's going to be even more impressive.
I thought you might go there. That's all right, though. Yeah, he's great at everything he does. He's good at selling, and he's got the Nasty Boys' little brother with him. So he's
just never trust a guy with really skinny legs.
Just you and them damn skinny legs. All right, we got Randy Osgood here. He's got Alex Hammerstone, Casey Lennox, VSK, Speedball Mike Berry, AR Fox, and Jimmy Lloyd. Okay, Hammerstone.
Hammerstone's not an indie. He works for MLW, and he's their heavyweight champion.
Well, all right. That being said, he does not have skinny legs.
No, but he's also not an indie. He's also not an indie prospect.
So you would not consider him because he's an MLW an indie prospect?
Absolutely not.
All right. Well, then let's go to.
They have national TV, and he's their heavyweight champion. He's not a freaking indie prospect.
Well, then, that's the case. I don't know if Garcia is too. He's been on AEW a few times now and stuff too.
Yeah, but he doesn't have a contract with AEW. Hammerstone is contracted, and he's their heavyweight champion.
That's true. Alex Zane is. I'm not sure what he's doing. But he's been on WWE until recently. Now he's on Impact and Ring of Honor. So,
but I don't think he's under contract to either one of them. That makes him independent.
All right. Well, we're not sure. All right. So Mike Bear. Let's just concentrate on prospects in here. Maybe Mike Bailey. This is from Michael Flynn. I'm sorry, Mike Bailey. Chris Dickinson, Warhorse, Danny Limelight, and O'Shea Edwards. I'll throw in, what about Chris Dickinson and Danny Limelight out of that list?
I love Danny Limelight. Chris Dickinson, fantastic. I know he just won the title for an organization that runs once every 5 years, but he freaking guy's one of the top prospects in my opinion. He though runs into a similar problem that Effie's going to have. I'm not sure that his character translates to WWE.
Right. He's definitely, but I mean, they could always do something. He's got the look, for sure.
Oh, he's absolutely got the look they're looking for. And we've seen him at Bloodsport. He's phenomenal. Now,
I got Jesse from New Hampshire here. Now, he's got a couple people on his list here. And I'm going to tell you, some of these guys you're not going to agree with in terms of are they indie or not, but we'll read them off anyway. All right, Jacob Fatu, Dan Housen, Alexander Hammerstone, Miranda Gordy, and Brian Anthony, who I know you're very familiar with from Northeast Wrestling. So since I think you're going to disqualify Hammerstone and Fatu, let's look at two of these guys here, Dan Housen and Brian Anthony.
Brian Anthony has been great for the last 20 years. I don't know how much of a prospect he is. He's got to be heading towards 40 years old, for Christ's sakes. But I think people are using the terms independent and prospect very liberally.
Yes. So,
but I do agree with the level of wrestlers that they're talking about. Brian Anthony's absolutely fantastic. I've seen Dan Housen live, and he's phenomenal. So I got no problem with the picks that he's making. I just have problems with the words that people are using to describe him.
So you just don't think these guys are indie prospects? You think a lot of
Jacob Fatu is about as much of an indie prospect as fucking Batista.
I would not agree with that, but that's okay. All right. Now I got Mike Caldwell here, Michael Caldwell, from Mikey and Fred Facebook page.
Love those guys.
He's got Stallion Rogers, FKA Kurt Stallion,
nice.
Justine Taylor, Jake Logan, Sam Adonis, who's actually the brother of Corey Graves, and Funny Bone. Now, Sam Adonis, I believe, has been doing some work in NWA here and there.
Oh, no, I'm very familiar with Sam Adonis. Have you seen Funny Bone?
I have not. It sounds very familiar.
I have not seen Funny Bone either, so good job pulling one out that neither one of us have actually seen.
Yeah, Michael Caldwell might be pulling people. Remember, he's based out of Texas, too. So he might be pulling some people from
Texas. He might be pulling people from that north. And I think he's from what, Southwest Texas?
I'm not sure, but he's from the Texas.
Yeah, he might be pulling people from that, like the San Antonio area.
Well, last but not least, I think you'll appreciate this list. Producer Joe. He's got Daniel Garcia.
No, I don't think that guy's a prospect at all. He can't wrestle a lick.
He's got Daniel Garcia. I think you're going to agree with most of these. Starboy Charlie, who works for GCW.
No, I know Starboy Charlie.
Cesar the Executioner out of Knockout Championship Wrestling.
Sure.
Chris Dickinson and Effie. So I would say, that's a good list of independents.
And I'll talk more about this on my list, obviously. I think Effie has got unlimited potential if an organization lets him be Effie. I think he's got a much better shot in AEW than he does in WWE. But that's just me.
All right, I'm gonna give you a list too, real quick before you, so you can sit on that for a minute. I did put some MLW guys on here. I did have Hammerstone and Jacob Fatu because I saw
that explains that look on your face when I said they're not independent wrestlers.
To me, they're not yet. They're going to be on a bigger stage at some point. These two in particular.
Absolutely. My problem is if you're contracted, you're not independent.
Okay. Well, I mean, they're all right. So they're heavy on the prospects, light on the independents, maybe.
Yes. They're 100% prospects.
Yeah, Roxy. I'm not sure if you've seen her yet, but she is the new Ring of Honor Women's Champion. She's 19 years old. She's been wrestling since She's been training since 2016.
So what I'm hearing is you're looking to get your rocks off.
No, she's been training since 16. First year or so, she didn't even really take bumps. They just would work on the fundamentals with her. This girl is very sound.
I love that.
Yeah, and I think you're gonna like her when you get a chance to see her.
Dude, I can teach people the bump. Bumping is something that fundamentally either you get or you don't get. When it comes to teaching people technique, I don't think we spend enough time on it. And I love the fact they spent the whole year teaching her technique.
Yeah, whole year, because basically she got her parents to sign a permission to get her over there. I think she worked a lot eventually with Booker T's Reality Wrestling School as well. And
Booker likes him young.
No comment. Calvin Tankman. I also put him on the list. He's part of MLW, but I've seen him in GCW as well and other promotions. Super heavyweight. I think he's got the look and potential. And another guy, Brian Johnson, who's part of Ring of Honor. He's feuded with Danhausen. Guy can cut a promo, and I think he might be one to look out for.
Nice.
Now, what do you got?
So for my list, I got Danhausen. After seeing Danhausen this week, or last week, the personality that this kid's got live, I don't think that it translates as much on TV as it even comes close live. He's just full of freaking entertainment. I'm a big Chris Dickinson fan. He is definitely on my top 5 prospects. One that I haven't seen on anybody's list is Big Bacon Brad Hollister. He's one of my prospects who I'm a big fan of. He's legit. We saw him a couple years ago now against freaking Matt Riddle, and the two of them just tore the house down at Dot Stadium. Number 4 on my list is going to be Effie. I think Effie, once again, is one of those characters that translates in person. I could tell you he was absolutely phenomenal and translated. When you talk about young prospects, I think we need to go with Jay Lethal. That guy no, sorry. I was going by other people's rules that they didn't have to be young prospects or independent.
There's a lot of prospects out here.
But I think that another prospect, and I don't think I've heard him mentioned anywhere near enough, I like Jonathan Gresham.
He's under contract,
my number 5.
He is under a contract.
Yeah, but it's coming to an end within like 3 weeks.
Okay. Well,
I made that. All right, I made that up.
All right, I'm going to just concentrate on who we got mostly on this list. All right, so I'm going to include Hammerstone. I will, however, also include Effie. He made quite a few lists, and I think he's definitely should be in here. And I think, even though he possibly was already signed to AEW, I think this guy's up and coming. I'm going to put Daniel Garcia on here.
Absolutely. I love Daniel Garcia, and I think he's very up and coming. And I have no argument with him actually being on this list because, like I said, he's not signed under a contract.
I don't either. I think Garcia might have the most potential out of all these guys. It's hard to say. Effie's the most flamboyant, and he's really making a lot of waves out in GCW right now.
Well, Effie also checks every box. I mean, he fits into your cancel culture. He fits into your freaking pure wrestling in the sense that he can actually wrestle his ass off, and he's a great character. So
I think
hard not to like Effie.
I think with Effie, it's just a question of will he sign with a bigger promotion. He really loves doing the independents. He's recently said
I don't think he'll get the freedom if he signs with a larger promotion.
I think that's why he loves doing independents. So I'm going to keep Effie at 3, and I'm going to put this down to Hammerstone and Garcia. Hammerstone has that look. I know we're talking about he's already signed. Hammerstone could be a bigger deal, but I'm going to go a little different here. I don't know if Hammerstone, I mean, maybe he gets signed to AEW, but I don't think he's passing a wellness test policy anytime soon.
You think?
So for that reason, out of the 3 of them, I'm going to go with Daniel Garcia. I think he's got the best shot. He's already appearing on AEW. They've put him in matches with CM Punk.
I love Daniel Garcia. I think he's absolutely incredible. He's a great worker, and I want to agree with you deep in my soul, but you're out of your fucking mind if you think he's got a brighter future than Hammerstone.
I'm just saying, he's already there, though.
No, Hammerstone is a guy who could walk in next week and challenge Kenny Omega for the belt. Daniel Garcia is a great worker and will be a workhorse for the next 20 years, but he's never going to challenge for anything more than maybe, I don't know, the new TBS championship.
I'm not sure I agree with you on this one. I think you might be disqualifying Garcia based off his leg size, but that's just me.
I am unfortunately qualifying him because even in AEW, where the wrestlers are smaller, he looks small.
He looks like an athlete to me. But that being said, me and you aren't going to come to an agreement on this one completely. I do believe that if I just take a look, Hammerstone actually did get more votes, though. Let's find out here. Let's see.
Hammerstone's got a bright future.
Such a 1, 2, 1. You know what's funny is I think they actually got about the same amount of votes.
Tied?
Yeah, they tied 3 and 3.
Now I got to tell you, I honestly believe that's because we see Daniel Garcia on AEW every week.
Yeah.
If we saw Hammerstone every week, I think it would be different, and I think that's where it hurts him a little bit.
Well,
I mean, we see him every week. I'm talking about the people who don't watch MLW every week.
Yeah, and Hammerstone just got an injury too. He is supposed to be back, but that's one thing about Garcia. Like, right now, I mean, if he stays injury free, we'll see what happens.
He's not going to tear a muscle anytime soon.
You're really attacking this kid. This guy is a phenomenal wrestler. I
love Daniel Garcia. I think Daniel Garcia is fantastic.
I mean, he's a normal-sized guy, a little bit bigger probably.
He's absolutely a normal-sized guy if I wanted someone who worked at Chili's.
I don't know how tall he is or how big he is, but I don't know. He looks like a normal-sized guy to me.
He'd make a great bouncer at the neighborhood dive.
I wouldn't want to tackle with him. All right, that's it, folks. I think we're going to have to call this one because me and him aren't going to agree. So get at us in your comments. Let us know what you think. Garcia, Hammerstone, could go either way. But this is the Working Fans Podcast.
You can agree with Dave, or you can be right.
Working Fans Podcast. We're out.